Here's question 2S, a transitioning revision question. Hopefully you've already worked through it. I'm going to show you how I think through it, and at the end I'll bet our answers are going to match. Adam wants to improve the transition from the third paragraph to the fourth paragraph. How can Adam revise sentence 19 to provide a more effective transition? So I know that what I'm doing here is revising sentence 19 between these two paragraphs so that the transition from one to the next is more effective. So I'm going to go up and find my two paragraphs. I know that I have to read them and decide what they're about so that I can decide how they will transition from one to the other. Locally grown food not only tastes better, but is also better for your health. Fruits and vegetables picked when they are ripe are at the peak of their nutritional value. That's because their nutrients come from the living plant. When an apple is harvested or separated from its living plant, it's as nutritious as it's ever going to be. The apple actually decreases in nutritional value each day after that. Since local farmers can get their produce to consumers much faster than superstores, their fruits and vegetables are richer in nutrients. This shortened travel time also allows local farmers to use few, if any, preservatives. Furthermore, consumers are buying directly from the farmer, so they can find out whether the food is free of pesticides and other chemicals. All these factors combine to make locally grown food a much healthier option. So I see two big ideas coming out in this first paragraph. The idea of nutrition and the idea of the local farmer. So I'm going to go back into the paragraph just like you did, and I'm going to underline the words and phrases that support nutrition and local as topics. So locally grown food, better for your health. Nutritional value, and I have the word nutrients. I have nutritious again. I have decreases in nutritional value. Now I have local farmers, richer in nutrients. Again, local farmers, directly from the farmer. Free of pesticides and other chemicals is a way of being nutritious. And then locally grown food and healthier option. So my next paragraph, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to underline and circle the words and phrases that tell me or support what that paragraph is about so that I can make a decision about how to transition from one to the next. There's one more reason to buy local. This, of course, is the sentence that we're going to revise. When the distance food travels decreases, the amount of fuel it takes to transport the food also decreases. This lowers vehicle exhaust emissions, which means cleaner air. Local farmers' markets also alleviate the need for huge processing plants that use large amounts of paper and plastic to package food so that it will stay fresh during shipping. And when it's time to bag the produce at a local farmer's market, the question of paper or plastic is never asked. So much like the first paragraph I read, the idea of local is important, and then I see a lot of words and phrases that make me think about the environment and protecting the environment. So I'm going to go back in and find those words and phrases just to be sure that I'm accurate and that I have some evidence about what I'm thinking. When the distance food travels decreases, the amount of fuel it takes to transport the food also decreases. This lowers vehicle exhaust emissions, which means cleaner air. Those are environmental ideas. Local farmers' markets also alleviate the need for huge processing plants that use large amounts of paper and plastic to package food so that it will stay fresh during shipping. So alleviate the need for huge processing plants, environment. And when it's time to bag the produce at a local farmer's market, the question of paper or plastic is never asked. And that paper or plastic question, I know I've seen that in the news about the environmental impact of having plastic bags lying around in the streets after they've been used at stores. So when I come back to my answer choices, I know that what I'm looking for is the idea of the local farmer. I'm looking for maybe something about nutrition or health. And I'm looking for something about the environment. These are the key ideas between those two paragraphs that require some kind of transition. So option A, food that is grown locally is just a more healthful choice. I have the health here, but I don't have anything about the environment, which is the key idea in that last paragraph. So that worries me to be the first sentence of that paragraph when there's no mention of the environment. Option B, finally, buying food from local farmers can benefit the environment. Okay, that one's strong. It doesn't say anything about health or nutrition, but it does have this idea of the environment, and it does have the idea of local. So I have 2 out of 3 here, and the environment is what that third paragraph is about. So I'm not going to eliminate B. As distance declines, the amount of fuel needed also declines. There's an implication about being local as distance declines, but there's no mention of the environment or the impact of the environment, and that third paragraph is all about the environment. Option D, the last reason to buy local is an important one. Well, again, there's no mention of the environment, there's no mention of health, there's no mention of anything. Option D does basically the same thing that sentence 19 did originally, which is to say, here's a reason. So I'm going to eliminate D confidently. And when I look at A, B, and C, B is the only one that explicitly mentions the environment and also mentions being local, which ties our 2 paragraphs together. So option B is the answer that I'm going to go with as the best way to revise sentence 19.